Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. While I'm actually in the middle of another battery review, I went ahead and just pulled out this Redodo 12.8 volt 120 amp hour battery because I just wanted to kind of play around with it. And I went ahead and hooked it to this 2000 watt LEESKY pure sine wave inverter. Even though this inverter is a little bit too big for this battery, I want to test the battery a little bit more. I don't want to test the inverter. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start plugging in a bunch of stuff. First, I got a bunch of old-timey plug-in electric hand tools that we're going to go ahead and power up. And the whole time, we're going to have the Redodo app available to see the amp draw and stuff like that. So let's just go ahead and get started. And my finalization on this is I'm going to run all this. I'm going to make sure I can run all these power tools. And then I'm going to take this setup upstairs and I'm going to go ahead and cook some dinner. Maybe if I have enough power left, I'll go ahead and cook up a pizza on a Pizzazz pizza oven. We're just going to just deplete this battery. And I really want to see what all I can do with one 12 volt 120 amp hour battery. So let's get started. All right, let's turn on the inverter. There's the app for the battery right there. It shows like we're using 0.3 to 0.4 amps. That's just to power this LEESKY inverter. So let's just say, first of all, we have this, this hand drill right here. It's a Skill all metal construction. This was probably made in like the 1970s. So let's just go ahead and plug it in and see if it'll work. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Looks like it was maxing out at about 23 amps. No big deal. Remember, this Redodo battery has 120 amp BMS. So it can power, probably up to 1500 watts of stuff. All right, the next thing is this, this old Craftsman, what are these called? Reciprocating saws, or I can't remember. But this thing is, a saber saw, 1/2 inch saber saw. So let's just plug it in, try it out. It looked like it was surging at like 43 amps, but it looked like, again, 23 amps. All right, the next one is a 7 1/4 inch circular saw from Craftsman. Again, metal construction. This thing is from the 70s or 80s. It says AC only 10 amps. So that would be 10 amps at 120 volts. So that means 1200 watts is going to be the peak for this circular saw. So let's go ahead and just light it up. See what happens? Yeah, this thing's super old. This is probably the first time I've ever used it. And I'll probably never ever use it again. But you saw that it was like pushing, 85 amps. But again, the battery was handling it with no problem. I could not tell that I was using a battery and an inverter and not just plugging it into the wall. And last but not least is this Craftsman from Sears, all metal stainless steel construction belt sander. Now this thing, I don't know how old this thing is, but it says it's 120 volts, 7 amps. So let's go ahead and try it. All right, here we go. Yeah, I saw that thing pushing 100 amps. And again, I can't tell. I can't tell that it's not plugged into the wall. But again, those were all just short bursts. You know, they just a drill for a second or a couple seconds, you know, a belt sander for a couple seconds, and I wasn't even using it on an item. But still, it was pulling 80 to 100 amps, and this battery could handle it with no problem. But will it actually be able to handle when you're actually doing some modern, you know, small appliances upstairs? So let's go ahead and move this operation into my kitchen. And the first thing we're gonna do is use a Instapot pressure cooker to cook up some chicken. All right, now that we know that this Redodo can handle a, you know, some old-timey hand tools, can it handle an actual modern Instapot? Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this for high pressure, and it's only gonna cook for 5 minutes, but it takes about 20 minutes for the pressure to get up to what it needs to be. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill this with 2 quarts of chicken broth and about 3 to 4 pounds of frozen chicken. I think I like that taste. So I'm gonna go ahead and just load it up. We're gonna plug it in and we're gonna watch it on the app to see what it gets to. And I'm just gonna let it cook. If it works just fine, then nothing's gonna happen and you're gonna see the finale of this cooking. And we'll move on to the next thing. We do want to check to see what the SOC of the battery is, and then we'll see how much battery it took to actually cook up this chicken. All right, plug in the Instapot. And I said 2 quarts, I meant 2 cups. So let's go ahead and put 2 cups in the Instapot. And then 3 pounds of grilled chicken bites, which are seasoned and already fully cooked. I just like to heat them up this way. Put the lid on, make sure the vent is closed. All right, looking at the Redodo app, our state of charge is still 99%, which I'm not surprised. And we're gonna go ahead and watch that while we start up this Instapot right here. So let's go ahead and get it started. Just gonna press meat because I've cooked this chicken before. It should all be set. Like I said, set for 5 minutes, high pressure, and let's begin. All right, it just turned on and we are using right under 100 amps. So 1300 watts. And I'm guessing it's probably gonna stay right around there, but this will be a good test to make sure that this battery can handle 100 amps for an extended amount of time. So I'm gonna go ahead and cook this up. If anything weird happens, I'll let you know. If nothing happens, again, we'll just move on to the next item. All right, well, the Instapot just ended, and let's go ahead and pull up the Redodo app to see where the battery is at. And our battery is at 68% state of charge, and this took about 25 minutes. It took about 20 minutes to get it up to temp and pressure, and then it cooked for 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and turn this off, unplug it, move it out of the way, and then we're gonna start cooking 3 cups of rice to mix in with this chicken. We're gonna go ahead and cook up 3 cups of this minute white rice because I'm not a chef by any means. And we're gonna cook it with 3 cups of water. So let's pour the 3 cups in. The water is just room temperature. It's not hot or cold, it's just straight out of the faucet. Let's go ahead and plug in the NUWAVE. And we're gonna go ahead and set it on 1300 watts and set it on high because I want this to start boiling as fast as possible. And start. And I'll go ahead and just pull up the app and you can see that we are pushing about 1375 watts through this inverter into the battery or out of the battery. And so that's about 107 amps. So again, that Redodo 120 amp battery over there, it can handle this just fine. But will it handle it capacity-wise to be able to cook an entire 3 cups of rice? Let's find out. All right, well, my induction cooktop has got this water doing a hard boil. So we are ready to pour our rice in and let it sit for 5 minutes. I always like to pour my rice in, stir it up a little bit, and then once it starts boiling again, I take it off. That's probably not what you're supposed to do, but who cares? All right, it's already kind of starting to boil a little bit, so let's go ahead and turn it off. Pull this out, put the lid on, and let it sit for 5 minutes. And look at that. If you look at the app, it still says that the state of charge of this battery is 58%. We're not even halfway through this battery, and we've already cooked up chicken in an Instapot, and we cooked up 5-minute rice on this NUWAVE induction cooktop. All right, now that I got some chicken and rice cooked up that will feed me for the next at least few days, I'm gonna go ahead and cook up something for tonight, and that's gonna be a Red Baron Classic Crust Supreme Pizza. And it's probably gonna take about, I don't know, 17 or 18 minutes on this Pizzazz. So let's go ahead and cook this up and see how much it takes. You can see right now on the app that it's taken about 1.7 to 2.6 amps just to power this thing and let it rotate like this. All right, let's put our pizza on, turn it on, and see how many amps it takes. Fan on the inverter automatically kicked on like it usually does. And you can see that we are using 114 amps from the battery. That's right at 1450 to 1500 watts. So we are getting to the top range of what this battery can do, but it is still going strong, just like it's no one's business. So I'm gonna go ahead and cook this up for 17 minutes. If anything weird happens, I'll definitely let you know, but hopefully you just see a cooked pizza the next time I come on the screen. All right, our pizza is done, and it looks like it is cooked to perfection. The whole time this thing was pumping out between 1400 and 1500 watts. And you can see on the app that our state of charge is still 31%. Even after doing all of those, hand tools downstairs, we cooked up some rice, we cooked up some chicken, we cooked up a pizza, and we still have over 30% left. So really the only thing to do is move it somewhere else and maybe enjoy a little bit of air conditioning. All right, well, I went ahead and just moved it over to my living room, and I have this 5000 BTU air conditioner in the window already. And I'm just gonna use up the rest of this battery with some nice cool air. Again, let's look at the app to see what it draws, and we're just gonna put it on low cool. And it had no issue with the startup power, and now it's just running at 350 to 400 watts, which is about 28 amps, and it does say the time remaining is 1 hour and 21 minutes. So you can do all that cooking, use those tools, and still have over 1 hour of window AC power. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy this pizza sitting next to this nice air conditioning, all running on this Redodo 12.8 volt, 120 amp hour battery. If you guys have any questions about this video or anything I did in it, please go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll have a link to all the items that I used in my description, just in case you want to look further into it. Thanks again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.